Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Gardner, alongside my compadre, Jake Gardner.
Hello, hello.
And today we have our preparation for week 2 or 3 of your fantasy hockey playoffs, depending on when your league started them up. My league does 2-week playoff matchups, so we started a little bit ago already. But anywho, let's get down to brass tacks. Today we have a hell of a show lined up. We have surprises. We have storylines. We have injury news. Is COVID back? Gasp. You're going to have to listen on. We have slump busters. We have ice cold players. And last but not least, we have everyone's favorite segment. At least it's my favorite segment, so that's what counts, right? Scoop 'em up. And we thank you for tuning in and hope you enjoy this week's episode.
Heck yeah, let's get it.
So let's jump right into surprises of the week. My first surprise, Morgan Rielly, top defenseman on Toronto Maple Leafs. 4 games played this week, 3 goals, 6 assists, 3 power play points, 12 shots, all adding up to 40 fantasy points this week. That's pretty insane. Might be one of his best weeks he's ever put up. He's a pretty good player, but 40 fantasy points is insane. So just had a hell of a week. So
not a normal thing.
Yeah, hats off to Morgan Rielly. I mean, hell of a week they're getting that puck biscuit past the goalie there.
Yeah.
And then we have another defenseman on Pittsburgh Penguins, Chris Letang. 4 games played, 7 assists, 3 power play points for 32.75 fantasy points. Another just hell of a crazy stat line for this guy. He's a great player, going to be a Hall of a Famer, but just hats off to having a hell of a week.
For sure.
And then definitely big surprise, the young forward on Florida, fourth liner, Ryan Lomberg. 4 games played this week, 4 goals, 1 assist, 21.5 fantasy points. And like I said, he's on the fourth line, not getting a ton of ice time, so maybe worth a stream, but he's only getting like 11, 12 minutes a game. So I don't know if it's sustainable really. And it might have already been the best of him. So maybe if you picked him up while he was doing this last week, you got some good numbers from it, but we'll see if it can continue.
For sure.
And then lastly, big surprise here, Robert Thomas on St. Louis. 4 games played, 3 goals, 4 assists, 21.25 fantasy points. We're definitely going to be talking about him later in scoops. He's a nice little scoop of chocolate peanut butter cup right now, Jake. What do you think?
Yeah, if only he was available in our deep league. But
yeah, he's not, alas.
10 team, I'm sure he's available in 10 teams.
Yeah. So that's all my surprises of the week. Kind of other than those, kind of a ho-hum week here. Kind of names you'd expect to be on the list of top performers for a week. So not much to talk about if you've been paying attention. It's kind of just a good week here. Storylines. Jonathan Taves had his 1,000th game this past week. Just what a moment. I mean, words can't describe. Jake prepared a speech, so I'm going to let him go ahead and
oh my gosh.
And I'm just going to go ahead and let him talk about Taves here over Taves' career.
Taves, thanks for bringing Zach great memories. I only listened to hockey back then during the Stanley Cups. And yeah, I'm sure you were great in fantasy during that 2010 to 2016 run, but now you're not. I mean, you're just not even a grabbable player. You're just sitting on the waivers. No one cares. But yeah, hats off for the 3 championships, though. I mean, that's really hard.
Wow, words can't describe what those words described.
Yeah. He was a spectacle at one point. They thought he was better than Crosby. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a debate there for a little while, until Crosby made it no longer a debate. So
yeah, not even close.
But no, just, great memories. They'll last a lifetime. Definitely just all the memories with my friends going to the bars, watching the Blackhawks playoff games. I'm never going to forget those, and I hope that I can eventually get them again if the Blackhawks can ever be good again. we'll see if they can do something while Kane and Taves are still on the team before they retire or get moved somewhere. But alas, if that nothing should happen until they're retired, lots of amazing memories with Jonathan Taves for sure that I'll never forget.
Yeah,
so anyways, it's just a really cool moment having him play his 1,000th game. Not a lot of players make it that long, especially in such a physical sport like hockey. And for someone who's taken as much of a beating as Jonathan Taves has, that's a hell of a mark to reach. So very impressive career, and we'll see if he can finish it out with the Blackhawks or not.
For sure. Jeez, sounds like you already think he's leaving.
Jonathan Taves is starting to talk about the rumors about it, and he normally doesn't bring anything like that up. So I think that he's thinking that since he's talking about it, I think that he thinks that it might happen. So, and then another storyline, we're going to get to it in injury news, but we'll just talk about it here in storylines. Kyle Connor out with COVID. He's the first COVID case in well over a month, maybe almost 2 months. Why have the hockey gods forsaken me, Jake?
I think, is it confirmed it's COVID?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I just saw protocols. Wow. Yeah, he could be out 2 weeks, but you're in the semis. You could still have him for the championship. So.
I'll have him for the championship. Maybe if the last week
if you make
of the semis.
If you make it. Yeah.
Yeah, if I make it. I'll have him for the third place battle at least. So.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. Awesome. So then, and then we have kind of a lighthearted little topic here. Evgeny Dadonov. Jake, what do you think? I mean, Vegas, they acquired the perfect veteran presence at the deadline, huh? What do you
he was a grab, one of my top grabs last week. I saw you grabbed him.
But Vegas picking him up, I mean, making the trade, hell of a move.
Dummies, bro. I don't know what they were doing. Dadonov was obviously saving something for that next team, though.
He definitely was. He's
like, really good.
Yeah, looks awesome lately. Like a resurgence from like 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was a high pick 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was. So, anyways, that was a joke. But if you guys missed our episode a couple of weeks ago about the trade deadline, Vegas traded Evgeny Dadonov to the Anaheim Ducks, and then the league rejected the trade. So then Dadonov had to go back to Vegas, and ever since he's been back, he's been doing really good. So it's just kind of funny, lighthearted topic there. Now we'll go talk about some injury news. We got the Anaheim Ducks, Ryan Getzlaf and Troy Terry. Ryan Getzlaf just day to day, and then Troy Terry, he logged 2 assists before leaving with an injury in the third period. So we'll see about those two guys.
Doesn't say anything more about it. I was gonna
doesn't say anything more.
Jeez.
I can't confirm. Says nothing more.
I mean, he's been trash anyway lately.
Yeah.
Just down to brass tacks. I mean, I like the guy, but he's not been serviceable at all. It might be a blessing for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'd put him on my IR and grab a guy.
And then more seriously here, Colorado Avalanche, Nazim Kadri, out. He's set to miss time. He's expected to return at least by the start of the playoffs. So, I mean, he might be a drop here in fantasy leagues, and he's one of the top performing players in fantasy leagues this year. That's a big loss to any team. Definitely. He's a player averaging almost 5 points a game in most leagues. Kind of a big loss if you're counting on him for your playoff run. That sucks. And then Samuel Girard, defenseman on the Avalanche. Lower body injuries out. Not going to play Saturday versus Pittsburgh, so just keep monitoring that one if you're hoping for some D depth. Going to be out. Looks like he's going to be out a little while. And then Dallas Stars, Asa Lindell, out. And that's all we got. Then looking through here, Florida Panthers, Noel Achari, out, upper body injury, not traveling with the team over the weekend. And then New Jersey Devils, Pavel Zacha, day to day. So keep monitoring that situation. And then the New York Islanders, Ilya Sorokin, their big goalies day to day. That's kind of big news. I want to hear more about that, but they don't have nothing written up on it yet. That sucks. He's like one of the top performing goalies this year in most fantasy leagues. New York Rangers, Ryan Strome, day to day. Strome, who's been sidelined with a lower body injury, could return to the lineup Sunday. Okay, so he's coming back. That's good news. Get your Ryan Strome shares in for your Sunday matchups.
Okay.
San Jose Sharks, Kevin LeBlanc, injured reserve, maybe shut down for the remainder of the season, so no longer kind of dropping you should be dropping Kevin LeBlanc and getting somebody in there. Maybe drop Kevin LeBlanc and pick up Ryan Strome. Maybe you could do something like that.
For sure.
St. Louis Blues, Torrey Krug out. Vancouver Canucks, Nils Hoglander, he's got a groin. Will continue to be sidelined long term for the Canucks. That's unfortunate. Vegas Golden Knights, Laurent Brossoit, day to day, their goalie. Nolan Patrick also day to day. Maybe that means he's coming back. It'd be nice if he could play and do something. So yeah, that's all your injury news, everybody.
Nice. Jeez, what a rush.
And then we'll break into slump busters here. There's been a couple busted slumps this week. We got Sam Bennett. After 1 point in 8 games, this guy couldn't buy a point. Since then, he's got 6 points in 4 games over the last week, so kind of broke out of it in a nice way. He's maintaining that second line center role, so that's good. He's still getting some ice time. So that's huge for Sam Bennett owners. We were wondering if they were going to play Giroux at center or not and bump Sam Bennett down to the third line, but they're playing Giroux on the wing on the first line, so Sam Bennett's able to keep his second line center spot. So that's kind of how it all shook out, and that's kind of what they're rolling with, and it's working really goddamn well for the Panthers. It's awesome.
For sure.
Evander Kane, he had a 3-game pointless streak over this last week, but on Saturday against St. Louis, had 3 points in that game, so it looks like he bounced back in a good way. He didn't have a lot of pointless games since he's been playing this year, so it's nice to see him break a little pointless streak. Mm-hmm. Matthew Bartzel, after 2 points in 5 games, since then he's on a fucking tear with 6 points in his last 3 games. Matthew Bartzel turning it on here toward the end of the year. Really nice to see. You love to see it, don't you, Jake?
Love to see it, dude. Love to see it.
I bet you love to see this. Anthony Cirelli, after 1 point in 7 games, since then he has 6 points in his last 5 games. Finally looks like he's doing something, huh, Jake?
Yeah, and then, it's kind of nice because my team's kind of falling apart, I feel like, so. And I'm going into the semis here, so tomorrow.
Yeah, it had to give you a nice, kind of raging semi to see Anthony Cirelli finally doing something.
I've been holding him for like a month of nothing, so yeah, pretty excited.
Yeah, cool. And then Ryan O'Reilly, after 2 points in 7 games, he has 4 points in his last 3 games. He's definitely starting to turn it on here toward the end of the season, so that's you just love to see it, right, Jake?
Line 8, is your guy?
No, Ryan O'Reilly. I was talking about him all season as a guy to buy low on, and he's just had a really bad season, but now he's starting to finally do something here. So
gotcha. Okay.
Good to see. And then, that's all the big slump busters this week. And then we'll break into ice cold players. Kind of some big names on this list this week. Dougie Hamilton, fucking Christ, 3 points in his last 12 games. Just absolutely awful. And this was their big trade that they made for their, this was supposed to be their top D man. He's not even on the first pairing right now. Dougie Hamilton, it's just hard to believe. I guess he's just getting up there in age and might be falling off a little bit. It's crazy. Sure. Logan Couture, 1 point in his last 4 games. Christian Dvorak, 4 points in his last 9 games. And Oliver Bjorkstrand, 2 points in his last 6 games. And Patrick Laine, 3 points in his last 6 games. We're hoping he can kind of bounce back because he's a lot of people's like second, third round pick this year. And right when you need him the most, he's starting to slow down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of is unfortunate. So those are the ice cold guys this week. Now we'll break into scoop them up here, and we're gonna talk first about what you can do in very deep competitive leagues, like 12-team leagues, where everybody's really trying, making moves. So these are some kind of guys that you might be able to get. Ilya Mishiev, he's right now, this last week was bumped up to the second line with John Tavares. He has 4 points in his last 4 games, and he's on the second power play right now. This might be a little time to stream him in, and because he's doing some good things with John Tavares, getting that more ice time. So this might be a chance to buy low, scoop up Ilya Mishiev
for sure
for this week. And then Robert Thomas, 7 points in his last 4 games. We talked about him at the beginning of the episode in Surprises of the Week. Yeah, you guys need to go check on this guy, scoop him up. He's only like 16% owned. It's insane. He's doing really good right now. He's turning it on when you need him the most. I think this guy can be a hold for the rest of the year, and he could help you win a championship league if you can get him right now. So go check on Robert Thomas. He might be my biggest scoop for this week. Okay. And then Yegor Sharangovich, he has 3 goals in his last 3 games. He's getting higher ice time lately. Looks like New Jersey as a whole is just clicking. So maybe now's a chance to take a flyer on Yegor Sharangovich. Just go see, if he's available. Oh. And then Noah Hannafin, defenseman on what fucking team is he on? Is he on Calgary? I think he's on Calgary.
It's the Flames.
Yeah, 6 points in his last 5 games. He's getting some higher ice time lately. This might be a guy you can add if you're, looking for some D. Deep D.
Would you grab him? This is a question I have for you. Would you grab him over Alexander Romanov?
I don't know about that, because I think Romanov is the top defenseman on that team. I don't think Hannafin's getting the top ice time or like the top line play. So I think I would go Romanov.
Okay.
And then another big D-man that I think you guys should be grabbing, Sean Durzi. He's getting the top power play, top pairing right now with Drew Doughty being out on LA, and he's rolling with it like really well. He's got 1 goal and 4 assists in his last 8 games. He's also getting a ton of hits and blocks, and that ice time just is going way up. He's, like I said, he's getting that top power play. This is the guy that these kind of guys don't often come available this late in the year. Usually with injuries, that's why this one popped up. But definitely be scooping this guy up. He needs to be higher owned, just doing what he's doing lately.
For sure.
And then I got some moves here for like 10-team or lower leagues. Maybe not as competitive. These guys might be more available in those type of leagues. Because I know none of these guys are available in the league that Jake and I are in right now. So that's why I wanted to break these guys into like 10-team leagues moves here. So Evgeny Dadonov, we were talking about him as kind of a joke earlier in the episode. 8 points in his last 5 games. Definitely needs to be scooped up. So go check on if Evgeny Dadonov is available and go scoop him up. And then Logan Thompson, 5 wins in his last 7 games. And in his last 7 games he started with a shutout. This guy just needs to be picked up. He's doing so good right now for Vegas, and he is the goalie they absolutely needed. Didn't think they were going to get from somebody so deep in their system, but he's doing great ever since they called him up. Should be owned. This is a goalie you need to go scoop up, and he'll help you win your league if you need a goalie. And then Brock Nelson, 8 goals and 5 assists in his last 9 games. This guy's on a tear. You need to go get this guy if he's available. He's up to like 78% owned right now, but that's worth a go and check. Still, there's still like 22% of leagues where he is available, and he should be on your team. So just go and check Brock Nelson on a fucking tear. And then Dylan Strome, 3 goals and 7 assists in his last 8 games for the Blackhawks. He's looking great. He's even beyond his 8 games. He's had like a really good March. I think he has like over 20 points in March. Go pick Dylan Strome up. He'll help you. He'll help you win weeks and win leagues for sure. Right now, he's just so hot.
Okay.
And then Tage Thompson, 5 goals, 3 assists in his last 7 games. He's doing great for Buffalo. He's their leading scorer. He's looking awesome. Go pick him up if he's available. And then also Jeff Skinner on Buffalo. Him and Tage Thompson are running a hell of a line together right now on Buffalo. 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 7 games for Jeff Skinner. Go scoop him up if he's available. He's looks like he's turning it on here toward the end of the season. So those are kind of like all my big moves that you guys can make. Jake, do you have anybody you want to discuss that I may have missed?
I just want to ask you about some guys who might be struggling a bit. I mean, Troy Terry was one of them, but now I'm thinking he's going to go to IR. And I'll stream somebody in. But then Travis Konechny was one of the guys I wanted to talk about. Like,
Okay.
Can I drop him? I mean,
Pulling him up right now here, Travis Konechny.
I'm in the playoffs. He's not doing too hot. He doesn't even look like he's getting heavy minutes. Like,
Yeah, he just had 13 minutes against Toronto. Yikes.
that's what I'm saying.
He missed a game. He's got 1 goal his last 3 games, but if you look what he was doing before, he was kind of putting a little something together. I don't know. Man, that's hard because
I mean,
don't
I'm
know.
holding him for now because there's like nobody available.
Yeah, I think I would still hold him. He's averaging 3 points still, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's tough.
Okay. Yeah, what about Cole Caufield?
Yeah, Cole Caufield.
I wanted to bring him up and Romanov because they're in the same team. I don't know, maybe the team's just on a cold streak.
Yeah, so Cole Caufield we'll start with here. I'm looking at his numbers. Not terrible. I mean, he had a 2-game pointless streak, but other than that, it looks like he was doing really well, actually.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
I mean, I think
he has to score to give you any points in fantasy.
I mean, Florida and Carolina, 2 of the better defensive teams in the whole league, and Tampa Bay is too, and he still scored a goal against them. And he's still putting up good shots too against these good teams. I mean, 3 shots against Florida, 3 shots against Carolina, 4 shots against Tampa Bay. And if you look, there's a couple 1-shot games, but for the most part, he's 3-4 shots a game on average. I don't know, that's still I like that. I like the fact that he's shooting, even against good teams with good defenses. You still like to see the shots. So I think I would still hold on to Cole Caufield right now. I think there's still a lot to like there. Just quickly looking at over some of these stats here.
Yeah. For sure.
And the ice time's looking pretty good too. I mean, it is kind of a little all over the place, but it looks like he's pretty consistently getting toward near 20 minutes a game. So he's on a power play obviously with that. So, yeah, I think there's still a lot to like with Cole Caufield. I would take a chance and still keep him.
Okay.
And then
I'm just worried about a couple of just ice cold guys. Like Neil Poink is another one. And I have some guys on heaters too, so it's not all bad. It's just
Romanov getting a ton of ice time, but not a lot of points to go with it. I don't know. And it looks like he's not doing much in the way of peripheral stats like hits, like I thought he would.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he would be more one that I might think about dropping.
Okay.
If you're looking for just points. And he's not hitting like I thought he would be hitting, so just keep that in mind too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then you were asking about Neil Piank.
I mean, I know I can't drop him. He just sucks right now.
Yeah, and I also it's good that it's kind of interesting that you bring that up because I was looking over the lines on Daily Faceoff, and I just for shits and giggles I was looking at Winnipeg. And I couldn't believe my eyes that they don't have Neil Piank as the top pairing or on the top power play right now.
Wow.
It's insane. I don't know if he's in the doghouse of the coach, but he's on the second pairing and the second power play, and that second power play This is gonna get you excited. Adam Lowry, Paul Stastny, Zach Sanford. I mean, they're fucking tearing it up. That's a shitty power play. Listen to this first power play. Blake Wheeler, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Nikolai Ehlers, Mark Scheifele. That's where you want to be, and that's where Josh Morrissey is right now, and not where Neil Piank is. I don't know what it seems like they're like frustrated with, or like, you know, teaching him a lesson or something. I don't know what they're doing with that, but that's just something to note. He's not getting the great deployment like you figured he'd be a lock for. Yeah,
for sure. Okay.
So that's just something to think about. I mean, I know it would be very fucking hard to drop him, but he's just, you just keep monitoring that ice, that on daily faceoff, what like the lines are, and see if he gets ever put back on that top power play, top line.
For sure.
But just something to note.
Okay.
And yeah, that's kind of does it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We hope we're giving you some good advice here in your fantasy hockey leagues.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
And just remember to go hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and go follow us on all our social media. We have Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We have Instagram, instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And we have Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Go give us a follow, stay up on all that news and when our episodes are dropping, and we'll catch you all back here next week for another hockey episode.
Heck yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.